You're listening to World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world. And here are your hosts, Aingeal Rose and Ahonu.
Welcome to the World of Empowerment podcast. In today's episode, which is part 2 of Sarah Devoy's 2-part interview with Shirley Ward, Shirley gets into the extraordinary realm of preconception experiences. She shares that our lives are shaped even before we're born through ancestral memories, the energies surrounding conception, and the conscious or unconscious decisions involved in choosing our parents. Do we really choose our parents? Imagine how understanding these influences could change the way that you view destiny, purpose, and the eternal connections that bind us across lifetimes. In this episode, Shirley brings her clinical expertise and her personal stories, offering wisdom that's as mystical as it is tangible. If you're curious about how pre-birth experiences shape your journey or want to know more about conscious healing for future generations, this 2-part series on the evolution of human consciousness is one that you don't want to miss. Part 2 is called Preconception and its impact on our lives. So grab your headphones, open your mind, and let's hear from Sarah Devoy and Shirley Ward.
So Shirley, I would love to hear about some of your clinical experience of working with these themes. So even if we were to begin with preconception, obviously incredible for many people to hear that experiences in the womb or even preconception can even shape a person's personality or influence their life trajectory. So tell us more what you've noticed.
When I was talking about the different cultures who prepared their mums to be, and they spent a lot of time preparing the mother and the father so that conditions and the environment were good for a new conception and a new soul to be entering the world. And it's been quite extraordinary that we have found over the 50 years, not one person who was actually coming from preconception or where they were coming from, they didn't come from a bad place ever. They were coming from the light. And it was at the point of conception when the darkness came in, coming into a physical body. But some of the people, some of the memories that were experienced, possibly from regression therapy or art therapy, they knew the state of their parents. They knew what they were coming into. The cultural, spiritual, social, mental, sexual, physical, emotional state of the parents. It's like the new energy that was coming in was aware. And there were ancestral memories. Sometimes, some traditions are looking at past lives. But you can connect this with ancestral memories. And some of them have these ancestral memories as they're coming in. And also thinking about the impending life. What am I choosing? Have I chosen the right parents? And when I first heard that we chose our parents, that really blew my mind. But there again, there are traditions who believe this. And choice or chosen? Were we chosen? Or did we choose the parents? And I'm sure this will blow a few people's minds, but it has to. We are multicultural. We are together, and we all are different.
But what do you feel, Shirley? Do you feel we choose or we are chosen? That's an interesting one in itself.
I think both.
Yeah.
I know with the parents I have that I've had to learn a lot this time round. And chosen, for God's sake, I've chosen to do this work, but I think I've been chosen to do it as well.
Yes.
I have to be terribly strong. I'm too unassuming. And these are things that came in, I think, before preconception, of not having a physical body. Are we spiritual beings that come into a physical body, or is that rubbish? As I think I heard someone say a few weeks ago, you can't rubbish it. You can't rubbish the divine and the spiritual that's in us because it's there.
Mm.
And I think that comes in with us.
That's very
That,
much to Chardin's view, isn't it? That
oh,
really.
yes, yes. And, you know, well, I think karma, many of the Christians or some of the spiritual traditions don't believe in karma and effect, the effect that karma will have on you, but many do. And so that's been there as well. And that's where choice and chosen comes in.
In your experience and your clinical experience and your personal experience, that this sense of purpose is very key. Would you agree with that? That we're not random. There's not a random, or is there? Is birth just a random event with random people coming together?
No, I don't think it's random. I've met too many people in my life who I've known before. The last one is Marion, of course, Marion Thompson, who is the founder of La Leche League, who is now 90. Wonderful, wonderful lady. And she heard our last Humanity of the Future and wanted to get in touch with me and did. And so we're having wonderful conversations. She's wonderful, but we've come to the conclusion that we are new friends, but actually are old friends.
Yeah. How wonderful.
And so we're waiting now to see where that leads us. But it's Kevin said, I've got two pioneers here, and he wants to put something together. But this is an experience for me of, oh yes, I know. And the wonderful Viola Oaklander, who passed away a few years ago now, who worked with children. I went out to Los Angeles, having come across her book at Nottingham University. And I knocked on the door and she said, Miss Ward? I said, yes. She said, met before? Of course, we'd never met in this lifetime, but certainly, yes, there was something there. We knew each other very well. But, that is what comes in at conception.
Yes.
And of course, you have to think of the energy of the mother, the energy of the father, and how lively the sperm can be. I mean, I laugh about this because I see someone, Eugene Bolt, as he's, going, and I thought, that must have been a good sperm,
Sure.
That's his conception. But, it's not something I can go into now, but even out the jobs we do, the vocations we choose, it actually links with the energy. Going a bit further into the conception, I remember the young man who was really on the floor, sort of meditating, but he was on the end of the umbilical cord, very, very tiny. I wanted to be a spaceman. And,
Well,
well, I've got thousands of these,
these
but
real cliffhanger stories, Shirley, they're brilliant because what I'm really getting is that it matters. It really does matter what the quality of the sperm was, and of course we are sperm and we are egg, and it matters also the whole environment that the parents are in, whether they're in a resource place or a stress space or whatever. All those things are components of what we bring forward, isn't it?
Yes, under my life, and but there's so. I mean, we'll take a few more hours to do the rest of it, but
to unravel, but it's like, even I guess, even just as we close for today, it's like sowing that seed of possibility. And is there something that you'd like to leave, say, the listeners with today, that maybe are just hearing this for the first time, this idea that there is a zone called preconception, or there is a consciousness preconception. I mean, that is obviously something that everyone has to come to an
Yes.
awareness
No,
of. It's not a
it's
religion, is
into
it?
consciousness now, you've heard it. I've said it and you've been listening, and it is a real place. But the thing I don't want people to do is worry and blame themselves. Because no, no, no. Yes, I'm saying that we are responsible for what's happening, but when when a child is conceived, and I do talk about conscious conception, but these are things we've never heard of before. So I don't want people to worry about it. I don't want them to blame and mothers to blame themselves, but to be aware of it. And let's hope that in the future, more and more people can heal this place and be aware, and then there won't be so many problems.
Yeah.
The child won't have so many problems. But God, it's an enormous concept.
It's a massive concept, and I suppose if we take the concept of it takes two to tango, at least two, then it has to be the responsibility of the being as well that's coming in. It's not just about, oh gosh,
Yes,
I didn't do that,
yes, yes.
but the prenate that's coming in is open to that situation, and as you were saying, has potentially chosen that dynamic. So it's nobody's fault that it wasn't sort of like a Disneyland kind of wonderland. It's as it was, and that's the way it was intended to be.
I love the word. I love listening to people's stories, and I might just say a little thing, and it can change someone's life. But maybe, we can do that next time.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say, just as that?
I've said enough at the moment.
All right. Perfect.
Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening episode of the World of Empowerment podcast. We hope Shirley Ward's wisdom has sparked a new perspective on the incredible journey that begins long before birth. Whether it's understanding preconception, ancestral healing, or reflecting on the choices that shape our destinies, this conversation reminds us of the deep connections that define us all. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, and remember, your journey is as vast as the universe itself. Connect with Sarah Devoy on sarahdevoycraniosacral.com, and Shirley Ward can be found at shirleyward.org. Blessings from myself, Ahonu, from Aingeal Rose, and from all the team.
You have been listening to Aingeal Rose and Ahonu on World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world.